And boom, we're here live, and it's not John Crump. John's going to be joining us a little bit late, but I want to just say hello to you folks out there, and let's bring in Adam from Goon Tape. Adam, how's it going?
Doing great. What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here, and thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, cool. So we're like messaging early on. Actually, I was looking at your website. One of the cool things I saw is like you have a scholarship program.
Yes, we do. We have with the Executive Protection Institute. So that's super cool. Essentially, what we were looking to do is find younger people that were, the type of individual that would excel in an executive protection environment. And, a lot of people don't realize that it's a career choice that might be a good option for them. So we love those guys over at EPI, and we wanted to make sure that we got some fresh new talent over there in their school. So, yeah.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Now, can you talk about what you did last week, or?
Yeah, absolutely. In Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Yep. So I was there with the Executive Protection Institute and my buddy Jeff Johnsgaard, who is someone we've also partnered up with to put on courses. So we were in Puerto Rico doing a CQB type pistol course. When people think of CQB, they think of like pieing doors and entering rooms. This is more like, I'll say, engaging in a gunfight with your pistol within 10 feet. So it was a lot of fast shooting, which is always fun. And we got a chance to go hang out in the jungles of Puerto Rico. So, tons of fun. And we had a stellar group with us. So it was great, but also, pushed us pretty hard to improve every day, which was great.
Now, do you do any kind of that work? What's your objective with that?
So previously I did during COVID. That kind of changed, and that's where we started ramping up, focusing on Goon Tape, mostly because my business at the time had to do with corporate event security. And if you remember, during COVID, not a lot of corporations wanting to throw big parties. So
right.
That was actually really the I would say the catalyst that got us starting, pushing full steam ahead with Goon Tape. But it's something that I'm super passionate about. I went to the Executive Protection Institute. So those guys are my buddies. And we continue to work with them in a marketing capacity. We do collaborative posts on Instagram. And just trying to, spread the good news, so to speak, of the world of EP.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've always I live in Palm Beach, and I'm like, should I get, because each state is regulated differently.
Totally.
So there's different licenses you have to be able to do that executive protection type work.
Yes, absolutely. And some of the, like, for example, the state of New York has specific requirements for security guards, but not for executive protection agents, which that might have changed, but at least previously there was none. So there was a lot of, there's a lot of confusion sometimes working in the city where people are, they have the same badge as everybody else and it just says security on it. And then you're part of the EP detail. And then Virginia, where I am, is the total opposite. They have one of the strictest licensing requirements in any state. And I believe it's 100 hours of training and passing, just various firearms requirements and knowledge-based tests. So, yeah.
Right. Knowledge-based tests? I mean,
yes, you need to know some things, apparently. So,
all right. So what drives me crazy in this world is if I want to be an FFL, I don't have to know crap.
Right.
I just got to send $250 to the ATF. If I want to become an SOT, make machine guns, just send them some more money, fill out some more paperwork.
Yeah, right.
I want to become a federal explosives licensee, same thing.
Yep.
Write them a check.
But not to do EP in Virginia, man. It's they take it seriously. It's very in depth, and actually one of the cool things, again, to talk about, our partners over at EPI is they're not only training you to succeed in your role as an executive protection agent, but also they're helping you through with the paperwork, because, the Commonwealth of Virginia, not exactly known for its lack of bureaucratic, I don't know what to call it, infringement or whatever, but there's a lot of rules. And if I was just doing it by myself, I think a lot of my license would have expired a long time ago.
Yeah. Which the bureaucracy, it's amazing. A lot of things, legit. We've talked a little bit. I do cloud engineering. I got to do some paperwork for taxes. I got to do some paperwork. Like, I'm going to spend all day tomorrow doing paperwork.
Fun.
I'm like, I just want to do shit, make money, do business stuff.
Right. Well, I'm convinced a lot of it is, no matter where it is I'm convinced that it's a ruse so that it's very easy to lapse, and then you owe extra fees for your negligence. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
Right. Oh. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, all right. So Florida doesn't send you the title for your car when you pay it off. Okay. It's $15 to get the title printed. It's like, oh, okay. I donated one of my cars to a charity, and I didn't have the title. I thought $85 for them to push the same buttons, but because I didn't have one, I'm like, that's a $70 FU penalty.
Oh, absolutely. It's like when you're going to buy concert tickets now, they have the online convenience. What's going on, John? Talking about some, fun bureaucracy related annoyances, but you could go buy tickets online and it's the $15 convenience fee, but then there's no option to get real tickets, so the convenience fee is mandatory, right? So,
well, that's like when you buy a house. What are all the different fees? Closing costs. No, you're the bank. Write me a check.
Right.
What, I got to pay for you to write me a check?
It's the way the world be operating now, I guess.
And legit, when I bought this house, before I closed, the bank already sold the loan. Like, oh, you're closing with this bank. I'm like, what?
They are very good at their jobs. I think there's a reason why there's so much gatekeeping as far as trying to open up your own, maybe. It's
oh, yeah.
They're like the government, they hate competition, right?
Well, all right. So I don't know if you're into this. Crump and I both have DJI drones. Cool. He's telling me that the DJI ban passed. Was that just Congress? Was it the Senate?
In the House.
In the House. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's I'm maybe a little too late, or I don't know. Typically, it's not,
okay. So the problem is why, and the answer is lobbying, because Skydio wants to eat the market in the U.S.
Yeah, the Skydio lobbied. Skydio tried to compete against DJI and failed, so they dropped their consumer drones, but now looks like they're trying to get back into it. But instead of getting back into it, like whatever, they went ahead and
so do I have to buy a Mini 4 Pro as soon as possible?
Yeah, they went ahead and started lobbying Congress. Sorry.
That stuff I just don't agree with. I think that's bat crap crazy. That I don't believe in crony capitalism. Let the best person win.
Sure.
So wait, now you were talking just before we went live. Are you having a product other than Goon Tape?
So we do. We have a few other products that we're coming out with. One of them are big projects that we've been working on for a while. We're keeping it a little bit close to our chest, but we do have some other non-tape related products coming out. Rich, I was telling you a little bit about it. So, John, we have a what we call the shovel mod, which we've made with the stellar homies over at JMac Customs. If you're not familiar with them, they make super Gucci, mostly AK components, and they were kind enough to give in to my constant badgering of them to produce this product. It was an idea we came up with during the time where they were really trying heavily to ban all the pistol braces. And so the language written by the ATF discussing the difference between a rifle and a pistol is very specific. And it has a lot to do with the words designed or redesigned to be fired from the shoulder. So what we wanted to do is something that was not a pistol brace. It has no intent as a brace. And it was a literal shovel handle that would be able to fold and attach to the rear receiver of like an AK or a buffer tubeless carbine. And then the idea was, it's literally a shovel handle that folds, so it's not designed or redesigned to be fired from the shoulder. It's designed to be carried like a shovel. So we've got our third iteration of that coming out probably for Black Friday. This one's going to be super cool. We're going to Cerakote it with the guys over our friends in Emerald City Cerakote out in Washington, who they do unbelievable stuff. So getting all the homies together. Yeah. So that'll be cool. And, other than the legalese reason for it, it's fun. You're LARPing as a Rust AK wielding bad guy. So what's better than that,
Yeah. What's your connection to hockey?
For me personally, love it.
I noticed your logo.
What's that?
I noticed the logo.
Yes, that is our Goon Shield logo for sure. So, one of the things that I really like is experimenting in what we call doing redneck science. So when we were looking to develop a tape specifically for firearms, we went through a whole bunch of different types of products, metal-based, cloth-based, everywhere in between. And essentially what we came up with was like a t-shirt material style tape. And dudes, since I'll say the dawn of various hockey tapes, have been using it on their firearms. So we wanted to make what we thought was the best version for heat resistance, moisture activation with guns. So yeah.
I've noticed just the logo, and I'm a huge hockey fan of Rich. I can probably tell you.
Oh yeah,
who's a diehard Capitals fan.
Oh, Caps. Yeah. Okay, nice, cool. I'm a de facto. I'm in your neck of the woods too, up in Northern Virginia. So de facto rooting for the Caps, unless they're playing my Islanders. We got, Rich knows we got one professional sports team on Long Island. So if you're a hockey fan on Long Island, you're not rooting for the Islanders, something's going on there, right?
My wife is from Ronkonkoma.
Lovely. It's a
lovely
place.
Yeah. But she roots for the Rangers. She rooted for the Rangers until they converted her.
Oh,
dude! I worked in Manhattan, and I'm gonna piss probably 90% of the audience off. So I'm, business casual, walking to get into the train, Long Island Railroad, to go home, and it's like all of these people. I hate to say it, when you throw on jerseys, you look like you're dressing to do you put on a clown outfit to go to the Ringling Brothers show? I mean, what? It just.
Oh, come
I'm
on,
like,
man.
Really?
I used to when I was in Manhattan, I used to go every time the Capitals came to play the Rangers. I would go and wear my Ogie jersey.
Yeah, I don't know the whole jersey wearing thing.
If you're going to a pro sporting event, you got to rep the homies. Come on, I mean. Geez, it wouldn't be fun if they were all wearing black T-shirts with a logo on the chest. I mean. Shoot, thank goodness they look so different.
I guess.
You haven't seen my jersey collection, have you, Rich?
Haven't seen your what? Jersey collection? No, just your Funko Pops.
No, I have a massive jersey collection. Knetsov, who's now in the KHL, Ovi, Backstrom, even Green from back in the day. I have some Hunter jerseys from Dale Hunter.
I actually own a jersey. I own a Ted Cruz jersey for when he was running for president. I bought that. So I have a Ted Cruz 45 jersey.
How often do you wear it?
Never wore it. It's in my closet. I'll sell it on eBay someday.
hold out for a while until it skyrockets, just like all those Pokemon cards. Any day now, they're going up in value.
Yeah, back I cleaned Ovechkin's carpet in his parents' house. It was like forever
That is
ago.
cool. Heck yeah. Ovechkin's the best, man. I mean, not a lot of dudes, goal scorers, and just laser focus with pure violence. I mean, if you're a hockey fan and you don't either love or hate Ovechkin, I'm not sure what league you're watching, but yeah, love Ovi. Yeah, just the best, probably the best in a long time, in my opinion. So
yeah. Hopefully he wins. So you're in Northern Virginia then? I'm
yes.
an actor, so
yes, I am right in your neck of the woods, like very close. We'll have to meet up after this for a brewski or your choice of beverage. But yeah,
go to XCal.
Yeah, XCal. Yes, XCal are the homies. They're awesome. I will sing their praises until the cows come home. I previously belonged to some less than reputable shooting establishments, and going to XCal is so cool because one of the things they do really well, and for people who don't know, it's like a luxury shooting range, and they have a massive gym. So a lot of the members of this place are just working out. They're not even going to shoot. But what I like about
yoga, they got childcare.
It's wild. I mean, it's so cool. And the guys have a super interesting background too. They're in, I think it was like supercar sales. They do like a lot of fun events with, cars and coffee, that kind of stuff. And people have like, there's like Lambos, and then there's like special editions where you can't get them unless you're like a repeat customer. And some of the cars that come out are unbelievable. But I love those guys for a lot of reasons. One of the main ones, though, is that a lot of times I'm trying to introduce firearms to people that are not intimately familiar with them. And I'm sure you guys know or have been to places where you got some kind of like unintentional or intentional gatekeepers with the people that are running the facilities, and it turns normal people off like big time.
Yeah.
So XCal, like the people are friendly. They're like friendly enough where if you look like you're lost, they'll help you out, but not so much where you feel like you're like, I'm just kind of browsing. Please like, give me some space.
Right.
Those guys are great, man. I love shooting there.
Yeah. I've shot there with Dork at a private range, a private lane. That's nice.
Oh, yeah, super nice. We've done some like of our social media content in the private range because they're soundproof, and it's pretty cool. You can get like this kind of like underground bunker vibe, and nobody's like pestering you or being like, why are you wearing ski masks while you're shooting your stuff? So yeah, XCal is so awesome. I was so hyped when they launched a few years ago. It's a super welcome addition. Plus they're right next to Topgolf, so some days I don't think I leave that parking lot for like 9 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there Saturday. I'm gonna take my son to shoot.
Cool, awesome.
He has to shoot his merit badge test for rifle.
Very cool. That's great. What is so is it a 22 bolt action, or what do they use in the scouts for?
Yeah, it's a 22 bolt action with iron sights. But you have to shoot like a quarter size group at, I can't remember how many yards. But you have to shoot a quarter size group, like 3 quarter size group with 5 shots each.
Awesome. That's very cool. I was talking to a gentleman recently who is used to run one of the rifle ranges at a scout reservation, and listen to him talk about this stuff. I was like, dang, I should have stayed in and became an Eagle Scout. That was freaking awesome. I'm like too old now, so they wouldn't let me, but I'm still a little bitter about it. I screwed up all those years ago.
Yeah, I'm a merit badge counselor for rifles.
Cool.
Yeah. So I do a lot working with the scouts. In fact, I got Boy Scouts tonight, and I'm a den leader for Cub Scouts. So
all the scouts. No Girl Scouts. We're not getting the cookie hookup though, John.
No cookie hookup.
What the heck, dude? Come on.
But if anybody
wants to talk to the BSA, what's that?
If anybody wants to make a donation to the Scouts, you can by going to GiveSendGo /997.
Pack
so that's your troop
997.
Yeah, pack 997.
Cool.
And like it's GiveSendGo pack 997.
Kind of like Porsche 997.
Oh, now we're talking.
You can no snacks. You're gonna eat soon.
Best modern Porsche, in my opinion, though. Last of like the still analog enough, still small enough, still relatively affordable, the 997 generation.
So I was driving the liquid cooleds with the Porsche Club in New York, and I've driven like Watkins Glen, Lime Rock, and Bridgehampton. And
Bridgehampton, get out of here! That's sick. Is it? I didn't know it was still around.
No, it's a golf course.
Golf course, right? Yeah, typical.
Yeah, the bridge is still there.
Right, because they do a concourse, right? Like each year they have some sort of show there with.
They might, I don't know.
Antiques. Okay, yeah. Thankfully, Lime Rock is still up and running, and down sort of not by us, but VIR down in South Boston, Virginia is legendary. But that's cool, man. I'm ultra jealous. I'm not even going to hide it. I mean, very jealous.
Yeah, I had a 924 turbo, so I didn't have enough power in the straights, but I could pass, and I wasn't allowed to pass. But it's club racing, so I wasn't allowed to pass the 911s in the turns, because very few people can drive a 911 to its full potential. You got to have something wrong with you, especially with the older analog models, because of the off throttle oversteer. In every car you've ever driven around a racetrack, the rear gets loose, you back off the throttle, collect it up, and you're good. A 911, the older ones, off throttle, you just mash the throttle to the floor. If the rear starts braking, you go full throttle. You gotta, or else you get that snap oversteer. Nobody wants to be doing an unintentional 180, especially when you get got some traffic behind you. Oh yeah. No, that's cool. There's a deal. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I've spun off of Bridgehampton. That's the only track I ever spun off of. Oh yeah, that sounds terrifying. Not. It wasn't a high speed, so. John, are you into cars as well?
Oh, very much so. I wanted the new Hyundai that's coming out until I saw the price.
The electric one? Which one?
The hydrogen hybrid.
Okay. Oh yeah, the concept that they're gonna make.
Yeah, did you see it?
Unbelievable. I mean, no. What are they asking for it?
300,000.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if you got it, if you don't want another, 812 super fast or Huracan, I guess you got Hyundai also in the running now, which is kind of dope. Yeah, I don't. That's like I have a Genesis Coupe. So what was it before it was a Genesis line? It was the Equus. Okay. The Equus was basically competing with the Maybach. But I'm like, why, if you wanted the V8 version of that, why would I spend really high-end money on a car that nobody knows what it is?
I'll be right back, guys.
It's going to get his Hyundai.
I'm like, I think like a used Equus V8, great bargain. But I'm like, that's something I wouldn't want to, blow. At the time, I think it was like 60 grand for a new one. And looks great, had great features and all that, but yeah, I'm with you. And also I do get it though. I've sat in the back seat in a few of the newer Hyundais, and they are pretty exceptional. So I think first of all, there's a ton of people that are just patriotic for Korean brands, which I totally get. Just like there's people that love the Japanese and the German stuff. And so for those people, they're mega fans. But even as, I like cars in general. And I sat in the back of one of the new Genesis sedans, and it was unbelievable, like untouchable at the price range. And I'm thinking, I am a, huge patriot. So I'm like always rooting for the American cars. I'm thinking, oh yeah, dudes, come on, we got to step it up a little bit, Well, and that's, so I had a GMC Envoy forever, and I wanted to get a, what is the replacement for that? The Tahoe. And I'm like, just the way it worked out, my wife had a 2017 Lexus RX 450. Cool. She wanted a newer one. I liked the car a lot, and I had the Comma AI self-driving in it. I'm like, you know what? Let's just donate the Envoy. I'll take your old car, get a newer Lexus, and we're good. Instead of getting rid of 2 cars, buying 2 cars.
Right.
I'm like, and the reality is, I'm like, no, I want an American car with a full frame chassis with 4-wheel low. Blah. I used 4-wheel low twice in Minnesota in a blizzard, pulling somebody else out of a ditch.
Right.
I'm like, I live in Florida. The Lexus gives you actually a really good all-wheel drive system. It's electric rear drive, and it works really good. I've never spun the wheels of the car getting out of any kind of a ditch. Meanwhile, the Envoy I have, and I'm like, it's a smart system. It works. But the other goof is the Envoy was made in Canada, and the Lexus was probably made by Toyota across the street in Ontario.
Right.
And they're both Canadian cars.
Yep, absolutely. It's yeah, I'm hoping that we could bring back, obviously Lexus is a Japanese company, but I'm hoping that we could bring back a lot of the automotive manufacturing here. I know labor costs are very high, but
you don't want a bloodbath, do you?
No, I don't want a bloodbath unless we're winning that bloodbath, of course, but no, I mean, we used to make a lot of stuff here, and we don't make much of anything, at least for the most part anymore. And the only thing we really seem to do is customer service, and we're pretty freaking awful at it, like, I mean,
ouch. Well, I think a lot of that is regulatory, and we're outsourcing all of the highly toxic or highly costly toxic things to do environmentally friendly to, India and China.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And, so we're not doing that work in this country. I've been like Jones. Everybody in the chat knows I've been like eyeing a Z06 for a long time.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm like, and I hate to say it, I'm like, I don't know if I had 600 horsepower, if I'd be okay with that. That might be.
Baby steps. Come on. It's like, I mean, sport bikes, let's just say, every 600cc sport bike and up is probably 10 times better than the person who's riding it. And, I think some of these machines, they're so well built that you don't get that like sense of fear of like, oh, I'm going way too fast. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
Maybe that is part of it, but dude, I'm gonna feed your wild side here. I say, get that Z06, man. I mean, they're not gonna. I don't know how much longer they're gonna be making these beasts, dude. They're might be a dying breed. Who knows? I hope not, but
yeah, I'm like, I think. Well, first I want to get my airplane put back together. That's going to be number one, airplane, because I'm sick of driving to places.
That's an unbelievable flex. I love hearing that. Just, dude, I got to get my plane back, dude. Come on. Traffic is murder out here without my freaking Harrier jump jet,
Yeah. Well, it'd be different. Okay. So there's places, actually, I met somebody, I'm wearing a polo with like my plane embroidered on it.
Right.
And this woman's like, oh, my husband's got a plane like that. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. No, he did. It's like I have kind of an oddball plane, and he lives in this flying community just north of me. But a 5-acre lot with access to the runway, and this is probably 15 years ago, was going for $500,000.
Right.
Empty lot.
Yep.
And I'm like, because I mean, just the ability to walk into your own hangar. One, the ability to do the maintenance on your plane is phenomenal, as opposed to, getting your crap, whatever tools you need, going to the hangar, working on it, forgetting you left something, a specialty tool home. The ability to have everything there and just go, that's fantastic.
So I was going to say, I hear I don't own a plane, but that sounds pretty appealing, having your own airplane. So I've, always been interested in it, but I've heard a lot of people say that if it floats, flies, or does something else, you should be renting and not buying. Is that your advice as well for airplanes, or what would you say?
Yeah, and the way it goes, I would say, all right, so very close, but there's a couple of problems with that with an airplane. Okay. I would say, and I haven't done the calculation recently, but if you're flying more than 40 hours a year, it makes sense to own a plane.
Okay.
The other contingency problems with that is if most planes you rent fly about 100 miles an hour. To make it worth your while, you have to fly nearly 200 miles an hour.
Really? Wow. To, like, saying as a
Because
mode of transportation to get around?
yeah, because you're going to drive to the airport, you're going to pre-flight the plane. That could be, 15, 20 minutes to the airport or more, 15 minutes pre-flighting the plane, spend another 5 minutes taxiing before you get in the air and get up to, 200 miles an hour. The problem is you can't rent a plane typically that goes 200 miles an hour. Or if you can rent a plane that goes 200 miles an hour, it's brutally expensive. So the option there is, you pretty much have to own the plane then. Now, the other problem with flying is, let's say, like a cool thing to do on Long Island would be you could fly out to Block Island, you could fly out to Martha's Vineyard, you could fly out to Nantucket. Like, I could be there in 30, 45 minutes, any one of those places.
Amazing. Yes.
So where Long Island, you might not, get to, probably from your house in Nassau County, you might not get over a bridge for over an hour before you can start driving hours in any one direction. So the cool thing is, if you own a plane, to be able to go to Martha's Vineyard for a week and leave your plane there. Whereas if you're renting, you got a minimum number of hours a day you got to pay for. So even though you're not running the engine, you pay by tachometer time. So Adam, just want to introduce you to my buddy Dark. He has his own channel.
What's up, dude? How are you?
Dark.
Dude, I'm a huge Goon Tape lover.
Actually, really? Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I utilize Goon Tape in most of my sexual expeditions as well. And dude,
which he's had zero in the last 2 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, allegedly, yes, I'm separated currently. But
I thank you for wrapping your tool.
Yeah, man, that's how else does anyone else do it?
That's right. Yeah.
Actually, I met a girl wearing a 19X at XCal, and she had Goon Tape on the grip. And when she was walking by, I was like, "Goon Tape?" She was like, "Yeah." And then we started. So it was kind of
that's
fun.
awesome. Dark, are you?
And then you got a private lane, and
that you got the hookup. I wish I got the hookup from sending some Goon Tape out. No, I do love those guys. They're freaking awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome. I'm like 20 or 30 minutes from Crumpy. I live in the Nova area as well.
Likewise, yes. We'll all have to rendezvous with that Rich.
Yep.
Just make sure he really.
Unless I get my plane put back together.
Plane, there you go.
It's great motivation to finish it up.
Yeah, man. So I love hearing you guys talk about planes, trains, and automobiles, but I had to jump on because it's a gun channel, Rich.
Yes, let's talk about the guns.
I knew when I saw you coming on, I'm like, oh yeah.
No, I'm just busting your chops. Honestly, I just didn't want to, see the opportunity go where we could learn about your company and
cool.
Kind of hear about where it started and
absolutely.
And all that. So like when did you guys start and what inspired it?
So right after we started right after COVID, like right in the swing of things, pretty much once the 2 weeks to stop the spread started to feel like it was going to be a lot longer than 2 weeks to stop the spread. We went full swing, full steam ahead with Goon Tape. At the time, my business was a corporate event security. I was a subcontractor. So basically, nothing high speed, people, wear a tuxedo, right this way to the bathroom, miss, that kind of stuff. And it was great, worked with a lot of really cool people. It was a fun business, but obviously, feds have entered the chat. Yeah. It was kind of worrisome. Like, I'm sure you guys remember too, where all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, am I going to not have income for a while? And so I, at the time, especially when AKs were super cheap to own and shoot, I just would love going out to the range, shooting my AKs and putting them through the ringer. And if you guys know, shooting AKs, they get super hot. So, there's a few other solutions to mitigate heat. So you could put them over the handguard to make sure you're not burning yourself and you don't have to wear a glove. But being the stingy bastard that I am, I thought there would be like a cheaper solution, something that I'm like, my piece of crap AK, I don't think deserves some of these Gucci heat resistant solutions. So we did a little redneck engineering and just kind of figured out what we wanted, what properties we needed, how much heat we really needed to make sure that the tape could withstand. Called a bunch of factories to see what it would cost to do it, and finally one of them said yes, but you gotta buy a metric F ton of it. And so I had like 20,000 rolls of tape in my apartment just lined up like to the ceiling, and I was like, oh my god, like now we need to sell this. And at the time, our strategy was to go after like police departments and really just do, I'll say kind of like B2B sales over the phone, where, you could put it on your service weapon. Most of them are polymer striker fired pistols, which our product does super well on. And, basically with the pitch being, hey, when it starts to get wet, how often are you putting on your gloves before the hypothetical gunfight, so to speak. But we thankfully found a pretty solid niche on Instagram, just a lot of dudes that were kind of picking up what we were putting down, which is just keeping it fun, right? Like, my background, I am not a dev group operator, so we try to keep it within, the realm of fun. And, we do have some actually like really freaking cool customers that do some very cool things. But, most of us are just regular folks, so we try to convey that with our media.
Yeah, I think myself. Can you guys still hear me okay, by the way?
Yes, I can hear you. You're a little bit lower, but yes.
Yeah, I had.
You went lower.
I have my printer going on in the background, so I'm trying to. Oh, that might be my suppressor. Oh, sorry. So I'm trying. I'll just let the machine go, and if I'm too low, then let me know. But I would say myself, Rich, Crump, all of us. We're all like low speed guys. We're all like the basement operators, So
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It's something that LARPing is, something that we glorify. So that's pretty dope. I wasn't aware of that. And some other stuff came out, like have you seen the taco? It's like something that slides over the handguard of like ARs and stuff. At that time that didn't exist, right?
I don't believe so. Yeah, at the time it was mainly burn-proof gear, and I think one or two other guys, which we use all these different products too. So we try to. Big believers in the rising tide floats all boats stuff. So,
For sure.
Like I said, we just was a little stingy, especially when, it's like, oh, we got no paychecks coming in from COVID. We need something a little cheaper. So naturally buying, 20,000 rolls of tape worth of fabric and putting it all together was the cheap solution, of course.
Right. What's the temperature rating like on Goon Tape? I've never pushed it.
So I'll without giving a specific number, because I don't want to say something inaccurate. But essentially, the limiting factor is the adhesive that we use. It's a natural rubber. So the fabric itself, you could theoretically wrap a suppressor and go, full giggity with it. But the adhesive, it burns off quicker, a little bit, quicker when it's something like on direct metal that's getting hot, and it evaporates, so it loses structure. But it's, I wish that I knew offhand. I mean, I did at one point, but now we basically just needed to make sure it wasn't going to like go on fire if people were, using it too much. What's that?
It can run hot.
Yes, that is the purpose. It provides grip, but we were looking for something that was kind of like a Goldilocks solution, because most of the people, a lot of us, I'm sure you guys do, like to go shoot their carbines, but thankfully we are not required to be, carrying a long gun in everyday life. But a lot of us, carry pistols, and there's a lot of other grip solutions out there, again, that I really like, but they are somewhat abrasive sometimes on your stomach. So if you're appendix carrying, we were looking, that's why we're soft tape for rough work. So we wanted something that was soft enough to use for concealed carry, but also durable enough to use on a carbine.
Hell yeah. And Rich, I promise my intention wasn't to totally steal this from you. I just wanted to be the little the Pong thing, just kind of boop, just kind of get it back on track. And sorry.
Yes. Good. No,
but
let's talk some guns, man. I'm all about that.
so what about for the people out there that are like so two things. One, back when Goon Tape kind of just launched,
Yes.
I kept going on the website constantly,
Yes.
desperately trying to order some,
Yep.
and it was just completely unavailable for a long time. And then the moment I would hear that it's back in stock, I would go and it's gone, right? So it was highly sought after.
For sure.
And then since then, I haven't gone back to. I have a bunch of mags I got in trade that were wrapped in Goon Tape, and
Cool.
I actually favor those mags.
Hell
but,
yeah. Yes.
What's your availability like nowadays?
So
are you asking for a date?
My availability,
yeah. How are your weekends?
So that was actually one of the challenges that we wanted to work on for this year 2024 and last year 2023, because as fun as it is being like a hype beast related company, if we are in business to make sales, and if we don't have product to sell, we are an Instagram page, and that's fine, but that is not really
that'd suck if you had no product and just Instagram page, wouldn't it?
Right.
That would be a terrible business model. No, we're working on. We're gonna have product in no time, guys. So just wait. Definition Knives is coming out. I'm
Cool.
cutting the stickers and doing the packages now. So everyone out there, just do me a favor and fuck off. All right. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Go ahead. No, that's cool though. I still have never owned a roll of Goon Tape. Maybe one day.
Really? Oh shoot, dude. We'll send you some.
I would love, what I would love to do? I would love to wrap it in like something that just simulates very like you said, full giggity fire.
Yeah.
Or get some of my SOT friends. I've probably worked at a gun shop that you've maybe even shopped at before, so I can go up to those guys and be like, hey yo,
if it's in this area, I've been to probably all of them, even the ultra I'll say non-modern shops, which kind of are my favorite low key, just because the shops that we have in Northern Virginia are super cool. And there's some that you go in there and it's like a museum, and then everything is for sale. So it's, it's like, you ever go to like the NRA museum out in Fairfax is super dope, but you're like, can't take anything home with me. So, shout out to, the guys, our friends over in CS Arms in Upperville. I'm a huge fan of those dudes. They've got like awesome Civil War related firearms, and they do a lot of military. So that's one of my favorite places to go. But yeah, the gun stores in Northern Virginia, we are super lucky to have them. They're pretty much without exception, they're stellar.
Yeah. And like you said, we're like this area, there's no hiding the fact that most of the general populace in this area is mostly not firearm friendly. So, having places in that area like XCal, like Silver Eagle, like some other places that they're normalizing firearm usage as a sport and as a self-preservation, tactic in this area, that I love that. I love that. So are you more so into like older military kind of milsurp stuff, or what's like your thing?
It runs the gamut, man. Like, I don't know. I'm like a secret boomer. I love revolvers and 1911s, but I do not discriminate. I like the striker fired stuff. Do you do custom print and unique designs on Goon Tape? Yes, actually, we have our first proprietary camo color, which is Flex-Tarn base. We call it Flex-Tarn. You got to be flexing. So we got Flex-Tarn coming out this month. We are so freaking excited for. Dark, I will make sure to send you a roll of that as well. If I am unprepared, I don't have any Flex-Tarn near me right now, but I would show you. So yes, we do custom patterns, and pretty much anything you could think of, we could put it on. The question is like, will enough people buy this pattern that we could produce it in the extreme quantities necessary to make it affordable? Because we could make a one-off of something, but we would need to charge, an absurd amount of money to, to the consumer, which, we're in it for the long haul. So we want to make sure that our customers are feeling like we take care of them. So,
for sure.
It's anything is possible, but yeah, we've been working on this pattern for a long time, and I thought it would be, I love woodland. Woodland is dope, but
yes,
you could get wood. Dude, it's the best pattern. I mean, I freaking love woodland, but you could buy China cloth tape that is woodland, and so we didn't want to have like, dudes that are just, hey, some people don't know any better. Other people are cool with, the China stuff. Personally, we as Goon Tape, we are totally apolitical. We have, what's your opinion on fill in the blank? Nothing. Guns are fun, and we want to spread the joy. That's like the other side of our mission, is really just making sure that guns are a pop culture win for people. I don't know how else to say that. Like we don't really do anything political other than we support people that are pro Second Amendment. And we have like our customer base is so it really runs the gamut. So like we want to make sure that everyone feels like Goon Tape represents them in the way that it represents whatever you want it to. So anyway, sorry for that roundabout thing, but that's kind of like,
it's cool. I mean,
it's really important for us because, as you guys know, right? Like you talk to some of the younger folks, especially, and some of the older ones too, but like a lot of the young people, I think are, it's kind of like their firearm ownership is kind of sometimes looked upon as like, you're like a fringe person or some sort of lunatic. And, not everybody lives in,
you're talking about my daughter.
I don't know her, and most of the people they're well intentioned, but we try to, just like I was saying, when we go to XCal, they do a great job of like bringing new people in, and like that's how we win. Like everybody needs to freaking win. Obviously certain people are,
I kind of like what you said. Sorry, my bad. I was just saying, I like what you said, like, because guns aren't political. However, they've become politicized. Yeah. So, I kind of like, rarely would I say like, like you don't take a stance politically. Like that's dope. But I mean, in this case, the way that you've described it, I think that it's a good way to kind of take some of the, I guess the politicization, that away from guns, and I think it's cool shit. Now,
thank you.
What about for the dudes out there that are just like, Goon Tape, dude, that's just hockey tape. Like, get out of here. Like, what are your thoughts, or what would you say to them?
Great. Like whatever, what like our official, unofficial stance is. What works for you works for us. We're not trying to hard sell anybody. So if people are like, hey, I prefer insert the blank product, that's awesome. That's cool. Like, that's fantastic. We're not trying to go after those people. But in terms of like companies that you are supporting, I mean, especially the China products, like I don't get that if you're like an American and you're rooting for American to buy like knockoff Chinese products on Amazon or something like that, I think is a weird take, especially at such a low price point. But again, like, judgment a little bit, but like the other stuff, I mean, yeah, go for it. Like we happen to think that this is the best product for firearms. It's like a Goldilocks product, but also like, dude, how many other tape manufacturers are like ultra pro gun to the point of like, they are basing their entire identity around it? Like, I mean, like I said, we are not political, but like we definitely, especially here in Virginia, we are looking to align ourselves with other people that are trying to make sure that, look, all of this extremely oppressive and constant attempts at gun control is just flattened out. And I think the only way to do that is by, hey, we're not a fringe group on the left or on the right. We represent all people that feel the need that it is their right to defend themselves in the same way that other major entities would do the same. So I mean, to answer your question, like, that use it, don't use it, it's totally fine. Like we're not concerned about that. If you like something, great. I mean, have at it, all good.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your stance on that. What are your thoughts on abortion? I'm just kidding, I'm joking.
Well, I'm happy I wasn't aborted, so that's pretty dope, I guess.
excellent point. Life is great. Yes. Sorry, terrible joke. What are some of the
So is Goon Tape vegan friendly?
Dude, I mean, you know,
It's
if you're
gluten-free.
using it, you know, wrapping your, I don't, I mean, I guess so. Technically, I never really looked into it. I'm going to assume yes. I mean, the adhesive's rubber, so it's not, I'll say, I get, yeah, sure. Why not? Officially, yes. We're
And
officially
it's
vegan friendly. We're fighting for
gluten-free.
all the vegan gun owners out there, which there are definitely some.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a joke, because on one of my channels I do a bunch of shorts, and it's like, it's kind of rude to ask why it's $3,000, but it's gluten friendly, it's vegan friendly, blah blah blah, and you know it's keto, and
Animal
so I
cruelty
use
free.
that and I show a gun.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. Rich is crazy creative when it comes to content.
No, it's like a stamp. It's like a rubber frickin' stamp. Speaking of which, I scheduled out all of the not familiar videos to the end of the month.
I figured. Have you seen me commenting on any of them?
Well, not recently, because I haven't posted any recently.
Yeah,
Unless
I'm
today.
I'm
I released a couple
purposefully
today.
I'm purposefully not commenting on any of them.
All right,
It's,
so Dark
sounds-
didn't go to SHOT Show this year, so I got several dozen people, industry people, YouTubers.
No, stop. You got every single gun tuber that you could possibly think of. Everyone, Demolition Matt
Demo
made a
Ranch.
video. Everyone, actually, you didn't get Brandon Herrera, or no, did you?
No, I didn't get Brandon.
Yeah, we're tired of Brandon anyway. So we love Brandon. We're tired of him. Sorry. Go ahead, Rich. You tell it.
Yeah, so I got them all to say, Dark, how come you're not here? What's going on? And typically say something rude about him.
Good friend.
So then we're over at GOA Goals in Knoxville. He wasn't there for the range day. And I attempted behind his back to, because Crump, Dark, and I were kind of traveling in a pack loosely. So I would make sure he was distracted, going some other direction. I'd grab somebody and say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you say just not familiar? And there's a story behind that. And it's like, hey, I want you to say something to my buddy DLD After Dark. He's a YouTuber. And then they say, not familiar.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Dark, you want to tell the not familiar story?
Yeah. How much time? So basically, long story short, I know it's not about Goon Tape. I'm sorry, but basically, what had happened was I was going to a small grocery store. You could call him a gentleman that's a trader of sorts. I think his name is Joe, and yeah, and not too far from XCal. And I was going over there, and I parked in the parking lot. And usually what I'll do is I could just open my phone with my fingers, touch a name, and call it, but I'm too lazy for that. So I put my earpiece in my ear, my AirPod, and I was like, I talked to the lady on my phone. We'll call her Schmeary. And I was like, hey, Schmeary, call Flying Rich. And it was like, I'm sorry, you don't have anyone in your contacts. But I was like, what the hell? So as I'm walking to Trader Joe's, I'm walking up from the parking lot, and I say it again, call Flying Rich. And then it says something else that basically didn't understand me. There you go. My printer just paused so I can turn the gain up. And then I get closer to the store, and I'm like walking in the front, and I'm like, Siri, call Flying Rich. And this dude turns around. He's like, did you just say Flying Rich? And I was like, yeah. He's like, Flying Rich, like Flying Rich and John Crump. I was like, what? I was like, yeah. And we do stuff all together, right? Like, we're always doing live streams together, doing shows together, going to events together. Like, if you know Crump and Rich,
if you know one of us, you know all of us.
Yeah. Like, it's impossible, right? So he's like, oh, dude, I know John Crump. I know Flying Rich. I watch them all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm DLD from DLD After Dark. And he's like, he just like turns his head sideways. And I was like with them, right? He's like, oh man, I can't say that I'm familiar. I was just like, oh, it was like dagger to the heart, right? It's like, pepper being like salt, I'm not familiar, like it's just, macaroni and cheese, like it's, we all were together, anyway. So that like crushed me, right? But of course it's hilarious. So I went back and the guy's name was like Anon something. I forgot. He told me his username, but I forgot. And he's never come forward, by the way.
Yeah, I
will
shocked.
say that. So you watch them all the time, my ass. But anyway, I told them the story and they all found it hilarious. And everyone has been making fun of me since then. So the joke is like, I'll come on and I'll introduce like myself at a show, and people will be in the comments like, I'm not familiar. Can't say that I'm familiar. So
Love it.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. Yeah, long story. It's kind of like you would have needed to be there kind of thing. So sorry to put you through that.
No, you painted a lovely picture. I felt a little secondhand embarrassment for you, dude. So
that's good. That's what I was going for.
I'm sorry that you had to experience that.
It's okay. I mean, I can't. It's more like comical than like I really like, I don't care. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was funny.
Sorry, I've been dealing with stuff here that's been kind of really distracting.
Breaking news? Is it top secret?
Breaking news?
Are we allowed to talk about it? You'll call me later?
No. I just
because I can't keep a secret. Is that why?
No, it's not that. It's just
we keep lots of secrets constantly. So what are some uses of Goon Tape that people may not consider?
Yes, this is one of my favorite questions, and that's why I think we have such a good time with this. So something that people aren't familiar with, Columbia necktie is kind of like the first thing that comes to mind. It's pretty durable, especially, if you're not ripping it by hand, it keeps its structure. And one of our mini rolls that we make with the folks over at Sneak Reaper and Ed Calderon, if you guys don't know them, they're freaking awesome. Ed is a former federale, did counter cartel work. And so we wanted to make a mini roll that could fit in your pocket, because the rolls we sell are like 1.5 inches wide, and it's, it doesn't really fit in your pocket, but this stuff does. And so it has some surprisingly good usage.
Medically?
Say again. We don't talk about that stuff mostly because it opens, like a whole bunch of, like, I'm not a doctor, so I don't try to have opinions on that. But I mean, people, you could wrap all sorts of ligaments, I guess. So another thing, like actually going to, something that I learned in Ed's class is about hiding handcuff keys, allegedly. It's my favorite part. So, it's put it in the inside of your belt or elsewhere. So like hiding keys. People use it a lot to repair like sneakers on the go. Like if their shoes are falling apart, they put it inside to make sure that they can get some extra mileage out of it. But yeah, it's a ton of I'll say like little uses that I never thought of that people. Yes, exactly. You're the perfect use case for our new Flectarn tape, Dark.
Dude, I want Flectarn Uggs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Are you walking the dogs in that?
Absolutely not. These are in the house only now.
And that's why they got worn out like that.
Yeah. Now they're not Uggs. They're like $20 Target things, but whatever. They smell like warm cheese. So.
Thanks for
well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yes, warm cheese.
Awesome.
And it's
so when you send him Goon Tape, send him some cardboard to stuff in there also.
Absolutely, yeah. Some paper towels, gotta get the full effect. But
maybe one of those little Christmas tree air fresheners or something like that.
And Johnny 3 Bars cutting on me.
With enough Goon Tape, you could do anything. So yes, I'm gonna say yes, asterisk, allegedly. But,
dude, I cannot believe, I'm like kind of blown away that Goon Tape and Goon Beam have not done something together. I really think
we root for we call it the Goonosphere. So we're like hardcore Goonosphere dudes. We root for everybody. The collaborations are so fun, but they take a ton of work because it's not just like, hey, we're gonna come up with something internal, and if we execute and it doesn't come out how we want to, it's like, okay, cool, hey, that worked, and we'll pivot. But like with other people, we've had to be a lot more just kind of like we've had to slow down doing a lot of the collaborations because it's like twice the amount of stress when you're like, hey, I'm working with, all you guys, and you want to make sure that it goes well and all that stuff. But yeah, we love those guys. Everybody in our sphere is super cool, and we want to work with, no BS, like everyone. But it takes a lot of
before
time.
you say you can tape a plane back together again, what about that plane?
Oh God.
I mean, again, with enough of it,
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put him in some hot water from a liability standpoint, Rich, right?
Allegedly. Look, it's allegedly. We don't, we're not.
That was my first plane crash.
Not legal advice,
Hit the Sabar, Crump. Allegedly.
But yeah,
that was my first plane crash. So
your first
this was the second one. So this one I'm actually repairing.
Okay.
Oh
cool.
Yeah. Does he know that you crashed your plane twice?
No. Well, I didn't crash my plane twice. I crashed two of my planes. They were different airplanes.
Well, each one was your plane, and you crashed twice. So you crashed your plane twice. I'm not saying that it was two different
planes twice. So yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. No, I did not know that you crashed your planes twice. Although that's pretty impressive, or the opposite, or somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
Do you know anyone else who has survived 2 plane crashes?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually the only survivor of 2 plane crashes.
Oh, you were alone. You were alone. That's not fair.
Wright brothers are rolling around in their grave.
I know, right? They're rolling around in their grave while they watch those videos of those dudes in like Africa making like stainless steel helicopters with ceiling fans. It's like, oh, you guys really thought that it was going to work? Like, come on.
Respect to the ingenuity, though. I'm here for it.
I got nothing.
You need to sponsor those guys with Goon Tape.
Dude, have them hit us up. We like for a while. I don't know if now it's still the case, but at a certain, when we first started out, we were literally not allowed to advertise on Meta. We were considered a restricted item, because Meta.
I wonder why that is.
So we have what we call our sponsored athletes, which are people that we like and we just give product to, because this way we don't have to pay people to say nice things if they're not huge fans of us, and people appreciate the tape and they tell their friends, and it kind of works out that way. And like I was saying, like, we love working with our customers, and it's fun. So, the more tape we can get out, even if we're giving away for free, I believe it comes back, and that way as sales, or, in some other way. So yes, for sure. We would definitely love to work with those folks, making, garage airplanes out in Africa. If any of you folks are garage airplane mechanics in Africa, please hit us up. We would love to talk with you, make some cool content, and have a good time.
Dude, I honestly think, and this is like a no BS assessment, I honestly think that if Rich, myself, Crump, and some of the other crew were all like wrapping everything in Goon Tape, our people would go nuts with it. They would,
Sounds like we got to get you guys some tape. Let's go.
Let's do it. And they all know about you, right? But a lot of times it's like, it's kind of like a relationship. Like when you hear about something constantly and you're like, oh, that's cool. I know what it is. I understand what it is. Until that moment when you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get something. And it may be like, I saw my boy, or I saw Rich with a completely Goon taped AUG. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going to do it, and he would totally do that.
Yes. First of all, big AUG fans over here. We like AUGs and bullpups in general, which I know is very, very controversial, like in the bullpups. But no, I love the AUG.
I 3D printed most of mine.
How come my thing didn't do it? It didn't do it.
Your audio went dark.
Oh, dang.
So
audio.
I actually have like.
Yeah,
you're back. I have like 5 Malaysian, or some quantity thereof. I'll have to count, but I have 5 Malaysian parts kits that I 3D printed the receivers for. I've got a white NATO AUG, and I've got an MSAR, a black MSAR.
I'm sorry. Crump taught me this. You know what it was? One day I was sitting here, I was like, let me explain this. Number one, if you're going around and you're doing blah blah blah, I was just like talking right now, I was counting, and I was like number 1, and then the moment that I did this, I was like, what the hell? And then it's like number 2, and then it did the balloons thing. So yeah, it was that. Sorry,
you got to be on a Mac.
So yes, you have to be on a Mac and it has to be updated. So what's the best place for people to find you, Goon Tape?
So if you're looking to buy our product, I mean, we have a lot of retailers. If you're in person, you might find us in some Palmetto State Armory stores down in South Carolina, but most people are not, able to buy it in person. So goontape.com is our website. That's where you could buy our products. We do pretty much all of our releases on that site, unless, one of our partners wants to do it on their own. Yes, goontape.com. And our Instagram, which is goon_tape. And you will probably have to type out the entire word. And we're probably like the 10th, page that comes up after people with, 1 or 2 or 3 followers.
All of us. That's how they do it.
People don't, like, you guys obviously understand, but a lot of my friends are not in an industry related to firearms, and I'm trying to explain how ways that we try to get around a lot of the censorship and ways that we could just keep moving forward, because it, as you were saying, it affects like everybody in this industry. So complaining about it doesn't really do too much, but partnering up with people and just doing fun collaborative either products or t-shirts or what have you is kind of our way of getting around that. So, but anyway, yes, goon_tape is our Instagram. We love, doing silly stuff, with guns. Cause we're saying our thing is guns are fun. What's Goon Tape's opinion on? Nothing. We have no opinion. We make rad tape for people that like firearms, and it's soft tape for rough work. We just leave it at that. So
That's awesome. And so you do have other dealers, is what you're saying?
So we do, yeah. So we love working with dealers, especially 100%.
I have a website. People buy stuff from it.
Yes, dude, 100%. We love doing with the dealers. Especially what's that?
He's near us.
Yeah, we're all gonna meet up for a beverage. We're gonna FaceTime Rich, make sure that we really rub it in that he's not there. He's Florida. He's been transplanted down to Florida. So we'll be enjoying a nice cold beverage. We'll send you lots of video.
Oh yeah. See, Fluffy says needs to be on DLD hardware. I would love to put Goon Tape on DLD hardware, because everyone that goes to DLD hardware is a firearm owner, B, a firearm builder, and somebody that's trying to do some form of firearm building or maintenance or something. So yeah, hell yeah.
Rad. Let's set it up. Yeah, it's not familiar.
Not familiar.
That's one of the other fun things too. Like we have dealers in the United Kingdom and Japan and a few other places that are just like, that stuff like blows my mind, and it keeps it fun too, because we're a super pro 2A company. At least half of the reason why we exist is to make sure that guns are promoted in a positive way in popular culture, and people are understanding that they're obviously tools, but that they can be fun too. And
these guys, they're pros.
Yes, boys, I love you guys. Love your content.
Yes.
You guys are freaking awesome.
Yeah, you guys need to get
so
back.
the question I have is,
I just had a
Goon
weird stuff.
Is Goon Tape more bulletproof than Flex Tape? I think we need to find out.
I mean, listen, with enough of it, it could probably stop 50 BMG, but I mean, we would probably need a lot of tape. So, if somebody out there is willing to test like ballistic high speed or anybody, I mean, we probably have enough rolls of tape to stop a 50, at least maybe 50 AE. I mean, allegedly, I don't know if that's true. So
I'm down to make a 10 by 4, 10 by 12 or 11 by 14 like thick thing of Goon Tape and just see what it catches. You know what I mean?
Let's do it. We're you're local, I'm local. We'll figure out. We'll secure
Go to
maybe one of those private lanes at XCal. See how bulletproof it really is.
Hell yeah, I'm sure they won't mind.
They're good. They're super chill about it. I think they're kind of used to our shenanigans by now, and with the exception of like making stuff explode and be food related products, they're extremely generous with their allowing us to use their space.
Yeah, especially if you go to them and tell them something like first, like, yo, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna look like what I'm doing is dangerous.
Yeah,
but trust me, bro.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. I'm like, you're gonna see me shooting one-handed with the gimbal. Thanks, John. With the gimbal like this, and I'm okay. All right, I'm okay. And they're like, we've seen you shoot before, bro. You're good.
Yes.
And
they do a great job.
I don't know if you know Dick Heller, but whenever I see him, I always get a dick pic.
All right, with that, I gotta take off. I gotta go to the scouts thing. My head's killing me. The whole rabbit hole I just went down. It was just ridiculous.
Alrighty, Crumpy.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on John Crump
Thanks
Live.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I have some inside information that doesn't make something look good.
Well, I love getting inside, baby.
But
the industry.
Yeah, but I'm starting to think it came from the other side.
You think that they're poisoning the data stream?
Yeah.
Well, let's poison it right back.
Yeah, so it's
everyone's getting poisoned. That's how we win.
Everything keeps on coming back to every town. So
interesting.
Well, hey, thanks so much, Goon Tape. You're awesome.
Dude. Are you kidding me, dude? Thanks so much for having me. It's great that you guys are also local too. This is fantastic. Thanks.
Everyone's local. Everyone's local.
Right.
Important. Everyone important.
Oh yeah, it's it was super fun, and
tell them where they can find you. I see the Instagram already went out.
Goon_tape on Instagram, and goontape.com is where you could buy our tape and the other random stuff that we like to make.
Yeah, and if you use code DARK, then it will add $20 onto your
you will have to pay extra. Yes.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, see you later. You guys hang out first.
Okay, everybody.